Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal X, NGR Radio's Xbox podcast. As always, we throw up the X because we're about to throw down. I am your host, ADV. Joining me is Bossman, Mr. Corey Dirrig.
I'm here.
Woohoo! And
Working on the website.
joining me also is the wise Wisconsin knight, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
Back in video.
Yes. And thank you guys for
Remember,
listening
video
to the
killed
audio.
the radio star. What?
I guess.
What?
Nothing.
That's a music reference.
Thank you guys. I didn't know. Thank
Matt
you
would
guys
be
once
proud.
again for listening to the audio. Look, do you have anything else to say? As much as I interrupt you on Nintendo Blog.
No, I'm good. I'm just saying Matt would be
Thank
proud
you.
of me for a music reference.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to last week's audio episode. Hope you guys did enjoy our discussion. It was really good. But yeah, Bossman is back. So we're going to get into what's been in our arsenal. And I'm actually going to start with Bossman. Corey, what's been in your arsenal, dude?
Well, yesterday we played a lot of Fortnite and Gears. What else did we play? Dude, we played so much Gears yesterday. We played like 3 hours of Gears 1 in the morning for a future Squad Goals episode.
Yes.
And then last night we played the first 10 waves of Gears 4 Horde mode with my brother-in-law Austin, and dude, we got crushed. Like, it was rough. We got crushed. Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good time, but we just, boy, that was rough. So after that, what else did we play yesterday? Oh, we played Halo 5 multiplayer. We decided to play this 1v1v1. It was
The basic multiplayer, basically.
yeah, and it was a good time. We literally just ran around the maps shooting each other and finding power weapons and stuff. And the first round we were playing was like whoever had the sword pretty much was winning because the map we were playing on Empire. Empire?
Yeah.
Was it Empire? Whatever the Halo 2 map was that they added, that they redid and put in. And we were just running around in circles with the sword, murdering each other. It was a good time.
Like Corey clapped me on the head. It was so fun.
So we were running around the map, and I was chasing Ed down for probably a good 30 seconds, right? And I run up behind him and just use the Spartan charge move and just blasted him. And then him,
It came out of nowhere.
yeah. And then him and my brother-in-law were shooting me at the same time, and I have the saw gun, that big giant machine gun that you carry around. And they were both shooting me with basic assault rifles, and I just mowed them both down with this saw. I'm like, man, this gun is way OP.
He killed his brother, and I tried to run away. I'm like, let me go. 2 seconds before I even got a chance to leave. Dead. Yeah, dude, it was so fun.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
dude.
that would be fun. I definitely would like to play something like that in the future when we.
Oh,
get
we're
together,
playing.
when we have a normal regular week again. You know, it would be fun too. If any of us got a chance to or whatever, we could try to make our own map
Yeah.
to use for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We also did Infected.
Oh yeah,
that
we
was
did.
Kind of cool.
We tried the
okay.
where all the infected people are faster and have swords and one hit kill everybody. And man, we were playing this one round, and they everybody decided to team up against the infected, and they were up in this little cubby hole, and one by one the infected would go up there, and then all of a sudden 3 of us just went up there and just clobbered everybody. But there was 5 of them huddled in this little crawl space in this one map, and I was just like, oh, well, cool. Yep.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite game types of the multiplayer always.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing that kind of stuff back when you had to make those games yourself. Like, kind of like set it up yourself, and then eventually they added it because so many people were playing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's always been one cool thing about Halo is like people would come up with these unique game types, and then they'd end up making them like a permanent thing in their games. That it's always cool, and people do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. So that's in terms of Xbox, that's pretty much all I've been playing, I think. Yeah. I'm thinking, I dabbled in the Destiny update. I haven't played enough to like really know what's going on or anything, but I did turn it on and update it and get into the tower and picked up a few missions to do. So that might happen this week, might not. I'm not sure, honestly. So, but I do want to get back into that game just because things are happening that I would like to try out. So, and then I want to get back. I want to get into the Division, and there's too many games and not enough time, man. I want to play, like, I mean, next weekend. Well, by the way, next weekend I'm going to be late because we're going to go see the Aladdin Broadway musical in Cleveland.
Cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's part of my wife's like birthday thing. I don't know, but we're going to go see that on Saturday, so I'm going to be late. But I'll share the schedule with you after we record. But anyways, that's all I've been playing.
All right.
Scheduling
Jesse.
is what I've been playing.
Jesse, what's been in your arsenal?
Yeah, for me, for Xbox wise, I've just mostly been playing Sleeping Dogs. So, like because of last week's episode of the podcast, we decided to pick some games to try to follow through on. And so Ed picked Sleeping Dogs for me, and so I've been playing that mostly on my Xbox. So just any because I've had a couple of days this week where I was able to get to it, but there's like not every day I haven't really been able to put time into it. But I'm doing pretty good. It sounds like I'm like halfway through about with the story. So I've been enjoying that for the most part. Like there was some issues that I had like with it, and like some stuff that I had issues with in the beginning of the game. But once you start like unlocking more moves and things like that, it gets a little bit more tolerable. And like the driving still isn't my favorite, but like I've noticed it just depends on like some cars are just better for driving than others. And like so now I don't even bother like using the cars in the world that you can kind of take from people. I just use the ones that you get in your garage, you unlock with stuff, because they usually end up having better handling and stuff like that. So
I've got to ask you, did you listen to the radio station? Were you in the car?
I did a little bit, but like honestly, I didn't really pay too much attention to it.
Okay.
Like I mean,
I usually listen to the hip hop station.
I guess I didn't know that there was actual stations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
there's music in the game.
Okay. Well, like I knew there was music, but I didn't really know. Like I haven't really, like I've just been so like focused on like doing the story and stuff like that.
Okay.
Like I just like honestly, I like I do as little driving as possible. I only do as much as I had to, to get to where I needed to go or whatever. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Like there's been some songs that came on the radio that I liked and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise I really hadn't paid too much attention to it. Like usually with Grand Theft Auto games and stuff, a lot of times like I would be driving more often, so like I would start fooling around with that stuff a little bit more in those kind of games. But But yeah, I'll have to check that out though next time I'm playing it.
Oh, nice.
Give a look at the radio stations and stuff. But and then on Switch I played some Lightfall, and I've been mostly getting back into Zelda again and trying to finish a lot of the extra stuff and things that I had left from the original game. And like I finally did finish all the memories as far as the original ones with the game. I still do need to find, I think there's 5 of them that were included with the DLC that you had to find now, the champion ones or whatever. So I gotta find those yet, but otherwise I got the original memories. So when I do decide to go and beat the game again, I should hopefully be able to get, once I get the rest of those, get the full ending and all that stuff. So looking forward to that. And then I did play some Naruto on Switch as well. I picked up the trilogy that was recently released of the Naruto games. So yeah, I like those games. They're fun. It's nothing that I'm like really like super like obsessed with or anything, but they've just been decent, fun fighting games / story games. And I just really like what they did with them. It's because I feel like some games, I'd prefer that kind of game over the games where you've just got hordes of people running and you're kind of the hack and slash where it's just you're like killing a whole bunch of characters on screen and it's just repetitive like that. Mm-hmm. Like what's nice about this kind of game, like the way they do their story mode versus that, is it's like, yes, at times it still can kind of get repetitive, but they do enough things to kind of break it up, so it's not like constantly the same thing over and over and over again. And so it kind of like they try to change it up a little bit. And so like that's my like the Naruto games are my kind of like mindless like game that I can play when I don't feel like playing anything else. So but that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a quick rundown. Switch, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, Mighty Gun Vault Burst, Graceful Explosion Machine. For PS4, I picked up Batman: The Telltale's Adventure game, Hyper Light Drifter, and God of War. For Xbox One, playing Gears 1. I beat Gears 2. I think I'm gonna run through Gears 3 pretty soon. Play some Gears 4 hard mode with Corey. Play Halo 5. Fortnite, I played with Corey and Jesse. That was fun. I prefer that over PUBG. I'm still not into Battle Royale games, but I think Fortnite is really good. It's more easier, and I think because it's running at a constant frame rate that I'm enjoying it. So, but I do enjoy that game and everything. Been playing Candy Lynch Dog Days. I'm going to suffer it, but if it gets, because it's been hurting my eyes with the shaky cam, like it's when I've been watering it, and if it becomes still a big problem, I'm just gonna stop playing the game. But I'm trying to get through that. Play Geometry Wars also, and kind of I've been getting a higher score on that. I forgot to mention that I've got a game called Road Stormers. It's like a multiplayer kind of Contra in a sense game. It's like it feels like Smash in a way that it feels like it's in a small arena, and you just it is for players and everybody can play at the same time. But it's just something that I started. It's a game that I got from work that I just wanted to try out. There's a lot of games. I literally just finished some installs. I got to finish Battlefield 1. I think I still got to finish installing in my system. It stopped for some reason. I don't know, but I still got to install that. So, but that's pretty much that's been in my arsenal. I'm gonna be trying to get through a lot of Switch games and some Xbox One games, and work on the Telltale game for PS4, and then figure out what I'm going to be doing for my summer gaming and stuff. But pretty much that's all I've been playing at this time. So, with that, everybody, we're going to get into some Arsenal news. I got 4 stories, and I'm kind of interested in what you guys really think about what's coming. So, our first story, there's been a job listing which indicates that Microsoft might be opening a new studio in California. The story comes from Game Informer. A recruitment page for executive producer indicate that Microsoft are hiring for an executive producer to head up a fledgling first-party studio in Southern California. The listing, which has now been taken down, expresses the need for an executive producer responsible for building and fostering a game development studio. The listing called for someone with experience shipping AAA games and also experience and understanding the process of creating a new IP. This, along with the hiring of Santa Monica-based ex-Crystal Dynamics head Daryl Gallagher, and a statement that more about his role will be known at E3, points in the direction of Microsoft trying to bolster first-party offerings by opening more studios under their umbrella. Microsoft has traditionally relied on partners for major first-party offerings, but that has often resulted in a loss of control over the schedule. So, what did you guys think? What can you see Microsoft bidding for opening more studios?
I mean, I hope that they're not doing what they did with 343 and the Coalition, because, like, I mean, in theory, at the time, like, it seemed like, you know, when Gears and Halo were at the peak of their popularity, it was ideal to have one studio work on one game, you know. Mm-hmm. But not that, like, you know, we don't love those games, because we do, but, like, it's I think it's safe to say that Halo and Gears popularity has kind of dwindled since 343 opened and the Coalition. And, you know, we do know that, well, rumor has it that the Coalition has a second team working on a second IP other than Gears, but 343 is kind of stuck, right? And so I hope they don't do the thing where, like, we're going to open a studio to work on one franchise or one game, you know, because we saw what happened to Lionhead after working on Fable for so many years. And I don't want to see that happen to another studio. So I hope they're opening studios with a focus of creativity instead of IP in mind. And I hope that, you know, they allow people to work on some of Rare's old IP, or, you know, somebody take on Fable, somebody take on some of these other IP. So I hope they go in with creativity, and I actually hope, like, they take a page from Sony and, like, hey, we need to focus on first party, because their first party lineup is fantastic, and we need to step up our game to get our system in people's minds and people's zeitgeist. So
I want to say it's fantastic. I think they just need more titles. I think a lot, and I think that's. I think.
Well,
that's
yeah.
what
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
For Microsoft.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, they're relying their first party solely on Halo, Gears, and Forza, which was fine on 360. You know, and you know, we've had some interesting titles like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2's coming, and Crackdown at some point, but they need to make a big push. Because, like, Sunset Overdrive didn't set the world on fire, Rise didn't set the world on fire. Some of their third party deals that fell through, like Scalebound, and didn't you know, kind of fall apart. And we also happened to Rise of the Tomb Raider when they made that exclusivity deal. So I hope they go in with creativity in mind, and I hope that they go in and be like, look, we need to. And they even use the phrase quadruple A, which means they're going all in on whatever they're doing. So I want Microsoft's Horizon. I want to know what that game is, and I want to know what it looks like. Not that it needs to be Horizon exactly, but you know what I mean. Like I want a new IP that's fresh, a fresh idea, a cool new character, really cool boss battles and enemies to fight. So, yeah.
What about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm just hoping that it's gonna be to make a new IP and not, like there's always a worry too of them like having like trying to make a different studio to continue one of their games and then have that studio do something else. Like I mean, I guess in some ways it would be kind of cool, because you do hear a lot of times about companies who get stuck making one game and they have all these other ideas and they want to try to make something else, but then they get stuck, like what happened with Bungie, where they wanted to make something else, but then they got stuck just making Halo, and then that's kind of what eventually made them want to leave, because they wanted, they weren't able to do the other games that they want to do. So like I guess in some ways I'm kind of hoping that maybe like some of these studios that they have will get to like try to do some other IP and like come up with some other interesting games that maybe they have brewing in their heads. Like even if they were to just have like some of those people work with another studio, a new studio that they're trying to create, like have it be the something that takes on the bulk of the new IP that these that these other ones have interest in making, but have a collaboration. Like I think that would be like, because Sony, Microsoft has a lot of like really good ideas with with their Gears and the Halo and all those kind of things, and I think a lot of the people that have made and been working on those games, like we hear about it already, like them going to some of these other games to help out with like mechanics to make some of these other games that are coming out for Xbox work and play better. Like I would like to see some of the people who've come up with like the stories and the like that kind of stuff, like do some collaboration with some new with some of these other new groups that they kind of been talking about trying to create, So I don't know. I just really hoping that we get to hear some more of like what's going on. Like I'll be honest, like I'm really excited to hear what kind of games we're getting, this year. Yeah. But I think I'm actually more excited to find out like what's going on the business side of it, like how many new groups that that they're making to try to make more and work on other games and stuff like that. Like I'm curious what they're doing, what moves they're making to guarantee that we're gonna have more new games coming out and new IP and stuff like that. So,
well, I think with the company that EA disbanded and closed, that made the Star Wars games with Amy Henrik or
Visceral.
Yeah. I mean, if Microsoft scooped some of those employees up, or put the roll call out, be like, hey, we're hiring, and they see people who worked at Visceral, like if that was on their application, I think it would be cool for Microsoft to like scoop them up, to be like, hey, you guys, now you could here's a studio, you guys can make the games that you guys want, and yeah, probably get a good strong writers and developers and stuff and artists, and I think they can knock it up, because if they get a lot of ex-Visceral people at a new studio at Microsoft, the tide, I think, personally would change for
them
against Sony. People want to see it as that.
Yeah, Yeah, there's no denying that one of the things that Microsoft really does need is some more good story writers and stuff like that. Like like I still like hope that we eventually get an Alan Wake 2. That would be great. Me personally, like that's something that I really.
We know that Remedy has 2 projects in the works.
Yeah,
P7 and P8. So
yeah. I'm hoping that that's something that we get, and I hope it does end up being an Xbox exclusive again still.
Yeah, because I think the one thing I give to Xbox is I think they never have a problem with their graphics, with games looking good.
Yeah.
I just think that, like I've always said, it's always been the marketing that they sometimes don't push a game. They don't market that game just right. They release it with an unknown date. We don't see no progress for it, and there's like no kind of hype. But I think with the show that they do on Mixer, like if they could use that and promote this new company, be like, we want to introduce you guys to this new studio, and this is the game they're working on. And then 4 months later, give us an update during their show and just be like, hey, remember that studio that we guys started? This is their progress for this game. And we're trying to get a demo up or something for you guys to play later on down the line. If they could promote that new studio and whatever they're working on, I think it would be a major help to Microsoft. I think, and when they get some new studios and they're in these games and stuff and ideas, just promote them on their show so people can know that there's something coming for Xbox, and people who want to, who read video game like sites like Game Informer, Destructoid, they have some know about what's coming to the system and from that new developer.
Yeah, I think one thing too that they have in their court that really gives them an advantage is I think what they really need to do too is they need to promote the preview program a little bit more, and maybe have some of the stuff coming there to where you at least like get the demos, or because that's one nice thing about the preview program that Xbox has is you can play like almost any game in the preview program. You can play a 2-hour demo basically of what's available, and I think if they could do more of that, the 2-hour play of games like when they're coming out and stuff like that, and just really help push people to give them a chance to be able to try these games, like, so not only do better promotion of the game, also giving people that demo is such a big deal. I mean, like, look back in the day when we had demos on discs and stuff like that. It was a big deal. Like, demos can be all the difference in selling a game. Like people just want to be able to try something before they buy it, because not everyone has all the money in the world to just buy everything that looks good without actually knowing if it plays good. So if they can really push that, I think if they could really push that preview program and push for more of those 2-hour the 2-hour play things of games, I think that really could do a lot to help sell, make sales on their system as well.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna move on to the next topic. EA may be targeting Anthem for March of next year. In a financial call, the publisher spoke a little bit about Anthem and said that they are hoping for a release in the last month of the fourth quarter of the financial year. During the call, CEO Andrew Wilson had prepared remarks about the game, calling it stunning and ambitious, and teasing that it will be something entirely new for games. Every dimension of this game will offer something entirely new for a wide audience of players, Wilson stated. From a new universe with unique stories that BioWare is creating, to the cooperative gameplay, to the epic and beautiful environment that constantly evolves around players. Wilson also commented on how he expects the community to be involved with the game. Anthem is a fundamentally social experience, and we will open new ways for fans to join the community and play early, enabling us to shape and refine the game with their input and feedback. Wilson said, "It is likely he is referring to EA Access trial periods, which allow players with subscriptions to the service to play games for a trial period ahead of release." During the Q&A session after the written remarks, CFO Blake Jorgensen was asked when Anthem would release. Jorgensen replied that he expects the game to launch in the last month of Electronic Arts' financial year, which means March 2019 is the likely date for the game. Anthem is BioWare's first new IP since Dragon Age in 2009. It's expected to be a major part of EA's E3 press conference, which is going to be on June 9th at 11 a.m. So, this is kind of making up for Mass Effect. I'm excited for Anthem. I'm not excited how EA presents this. Because they'd be like, oh, it looks stunning, it looks this and that, and I feel like they're still dodging on what this game is. And we know it's going to look good because BioWare does a good job of making games look good.
I don't think anybody's dodging. They wrote that big blog on what to expect about what Anthem is on the BioWare blog.
But I think it's the story people are wanting to know. What is this game about?
I think they're going to reveal that at E3 though. Because I think EA's only bringing 3 games to E3. Well, 4 I think, plus like maybe something that they're going to reveal, but minus their sports games. They're bringing the next Battlefield, Anthem, Unraveled 2, and I don't know, a racing game. I'm assuming some bad Need for Speed game. A lot of people think it might be Burnout though, like with all the backwards compatibility and the remastered editions coming out. Like some people think a Burnout game's coming. Some people think Skate 4 is coming too, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah.
What if Tony Hawk signed with EA and it was Tony Hawk Skate 4?
I think I might have to go drink 4 bottles of Alizé. I have to get super drunk.
I don't know though. Skate 4 is the skate games are looking pretty good compared to the Tony Hawk.
Did you watch the Trophy Hunters stuff Jeff put up or Jason put up the other day?
I watched a little bit of it, like the like when they first started doing the Tony Hawk stuff, because I was just kind of interested in what it looked like, because I was a big fan of the Tony Hawk games.
I think Corey mentioned that this game looked like a PS2 game.
Dude, I seriously thought it was like the GameCube version of Tony Hawk 3, because that level he was playing, the school 3. Is the school level from Tony Hawk 3.
Wow.
Huh.
So like, yeah. I mean, I knew it was Tony Hawk 5, but like just visually looking at it, I thought it was Tony Hawk 3.
Yeah, it just seemed like they like went so basic with it again. Like, I don't know. I don't really understand their choice of that, like doing that as a moving forward. But I guess I mean, if the people who do play it are enjoying it, more power to them. I like, because I loved the Tony Hawk games. I used to play them all the time back in the day. But yeah, I just was kind of taken aback by their choice of, like, I don't know. It just seemed like they kind of went backwards a little bit, but. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It's just sad that game was like, man, they set expectations so high by calling it Tony Hawk 5, and it just turned out to be a dud, So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on from that one. I just... this E3, they gotta bring it, and don't give me the corporate business talk. Like, talk to us as gamers. Don't give us a lot of verbs and nouns. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but it's just like be detailed enough to be like you're playing as Marshall, who is on the planet Zyder, and you're fighting dinosaurs. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Like,
Sounds
I
like a
wanna
sweet
hear what
game.
it
I want to
is.
fight dinosaurs.
Yeah, Torok.
Yes. Can we please get a Gears of War or Division style Turok game where like
Yeah, that would be sweet.
where you're like probably more like
I can see. I could do the Gears.
More
of War.
like Gears,
I can't
yeah.
do the. I can't do the Division.
dude,
When
could
you
you
shoot
imagine?
the dinosaurs? They just bust into chunks.
Yeah, and you collect pieces of the dinosaur to build better armor on your way through the campaign of the game. Oh, please.
That'd be
Turok.
sweet.
Maybe that's what the coalition is working on. Maybe Xbox got the rights to Turok, and now they're making a Turok game.
You know, I would
On the
literally
Gears engine.
leave and just go get some alcohol to come back and we watch that and just drink.
Hey man, dude, I actually
dude, I
like.
want a Torok game so bad.
Did you guys ever play the one that was released on 360 and PS3?
I
No, I didn't.
I haven't played it, but I did watch like video of it and stuff, and it looked interesting.
It was
enough,
actually
but
pretty cool. Like, and it wasn't the best first person shooter, but it was fun. Like, it was cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool ideas in that game.
yeah,
I like the artwork for it. The artwork was kind of cool.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Not the in-game artwork, but just the drawings and stuff. I'm like, oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, because like I don't know. I just would really like even if like what if they were to do like a Torok game but make it more like story based, like make it more like a Horizon Zero Dawn, but like like have a little bit more to it, more sustenance to it than just being a first person shooter for the most part. Like I think that would be kind of cool if they were to really like beef it up a little bit, make it more than just what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
We're gonna move on to our next story, which I know Corey probably is not gonna care about this, but the Final Fantasy VII remake will allegedly be released in 2023, but it could come sooner. This story comes from Destructoid, and it says, after hearing that the project has switched hands at least once and the team is basically reimagining the entire premise now, according to a behind closed door conversation between producer Yoshinaro Katase and development lead Naoka Hamaguchi at the Final Fantasy 30th anniversary celebration event, we have a guesstimated release window. It's by 2023, the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy. Hamaguchi seemingly finds this unacceptable, so the team is working to have it out early, but they could be a very probable reality. The transcript was obtained by someone attending the event, and we reached out to Square Enix to corroborate the statement, and if they could have been referring to all of the episodes in this episodic release, and to get a possible update release window. For now, that window could be by 2023. If they don't offer a comment, we'll probably get some sort of update during Square Enix pre-recorded E3 video. So, yeah, the whole game by 2023. The whole game, every episode by 2023. That's not a good look. By the time that happens, PlayStation 5 or Xbox 2 will be announced.
They've
Like-
completely screwed this game up, like in my opinion, from the start. Like just everything that they've been putting people through and like leading us on for how many years now. It's just like it. Like I was so excited for it to happen, but like over time now I just like don't even like I don't know. I just resent it at this point now. Like they've just made it so like such an F job. It's like I'm just so done with it. Like seriously, like how did they screw up this bad? Like
Because
I don't know.
Because it's Square Enix and they announce everything 1,000 years too early, and then they go on to make a game and they're like, oh, I don't like it. Let's start over. And then they just start over. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I loved Final Fantasy 15. I think it's the best Final Fantasy game since 10. Like, I absolutely adored that game, and it's still coming. Like, content's still coming that I would like to go back and play. But like that game was announced when I was like graduating high school. Like it and it just is coming out. Like, well, maybe not. Maybe it was 2008. I guess it was announced.
Mhm.
So I that was a few years removed from high school. But like, you know what I mean? Like these games are announced way too early, and I think the only thing that's keeping Square Enix afloat for a long time was the Western Division with Hitman and Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, and then they come out and totally redo Final Fantasy 14, which was a big task, and I don't even know if they've made their money back on that project, but like
they way made their money back and doubled it.
but I'm saying like Final Fantasy 14 was a hit, and they're doing all the right things in terms of like fixing their mistakes, but there's a lot of mistakes to fix, and Final Fantasy 7 remake is one of those mistakes that like, look, I get that a lot of people are nostalgic for that game, and like that game means a lot to so many people, but it's going to be one of those games where no matter how much work goes into that game and how much love and care and attention goes into that game, like 90% of me tells me that game is never going to be good enough for fans because it's never going to meet their expectations. Just like Shenmue 3, just like I mean, as much as I like Kingdom Hearts, I don't think Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to meet a lot of people's expectations. Like, it's just these games are announced and so beloved and known for so long that the hype builds and people's expectations rise, and they're just never going to meet those expectations. Final Fantasy 15 was the same way. Like, people wanted that game so bad, and I mean, by all accounts, like people like that game, but it's not the greatest Final Fantasy. But I mean, for me, I love that game. I think it's
the fact that people are going to be worried about how much gameplay versus how much stylized CGI moments you're going to put into it. Because for as big as Final Fantasy 7 is held as, it's going to be bad that if I pay $20 or $40 per episode because they put in all this production, and out of all of that time that I play with the first episode, if I only get 3 hours worth of gameplay and then probably 5 hours worth of CGI, what am I paying for? I want a game, not a movie experience. And plus, people going to be like, well, I got to talk to the townspeople. I got to read this text. I got to see these long, extended cutscenes. And they can look beautiful and everything. That's fine. But if only getting 3 hours worth of gameplay, that shouldn't equal my $40 that I'm paying for this game.
Yeah, like in my opinion, the only way that would make sense to do that and actually pay money for that is if you literally, this game, they said, this is what the catch is. This is why this is such a big deal, is there is no text in this game. Everything that normally you would be reading text is an actual video, like of them, you living the story out. And so make it so it's like it would literally be a game where you never have to read. Like you basically can.
Well, you're going to have to read, because when you talk to the town people, that's more voice actors Square Enix is going to have to pay. Then you have to double that payment, because you not only have to localize it, you also gotta get American actors or British actors to play all those characters that's in those towns. And don't forget, Final Fantasy 7 got a lot of dialogue in that game.
Yeah.
So to do episodic where there's just there's no reading in it, dude, people will tune out. And then what ends up happening, it becomes the Xenogears fiasco on PS2, where most of the 2 or 4 hours it's just cutscenes of people talking and no text. Now people might find that enjoyable because they don't like to read, but I don't want to hear a cat meowing 15,000 times because it's because of a dialogue of some random person in the town that I'm not doing no quest for. I'm just hearing this person say something.
Yeah, I think like the only reason I think it would work to do that is if they're doing episodic. like where you could basically, like you don't have to spend a whole lot of time playing it. You can just play like an episode or whatever too, but like I could see, like where if you're wanting to play as much of the game as possible, then it would kind of get annoying to do it that way.
Well, you need the town because the town has all the shops and everything to upgrade.
Yeah.
So you need all of that, and plus a lot of the story, some of that stuff takes place in the town that you go to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I mean like talking to like the shop people and stuff like that. I don't think I would necessarily like see like that be put into like an actual like video of people doing voices and stuff like that. Like I'm just more so talking like when you're talking like to the main like very important characters throughout the game.
The story
like
points.
That most of the game would be like voice over, but
all of that would be right, and that's why I said all of that would be the CGI parts of the game to progress it. And that would take up most of the episode if they go that route, because without having that text from the town to like talking people to break that up, you'll just be hitting episode part to episode part with a whole bunch of just CGI movie parts, and before you even get to a dungeon, you'll have to go through probably about 35 minutes of just straight talking for a CGI part.
Yeah. Well, and if they could figure out a balance where they could do it seamlessly and make it like where there's voiceover talking when you're still kind of like controlling your character, so it's not necessarily just CGI that like they would have it like in game. So like like when you're playing like games nowadays, like open world games like I don't know, Far Cry 5 or whatever, like you have people that talk to you, but it's in game. So like they'll have it where it like kind of cuts to their face and like you're talking to them, but you can still kind of move, somewhat. So like even if they were to just do something like that where it was like in game voiceover, where it's like they're talking to you in game, but it's not necessarily a CGI movie that you have to watch. Like, yeah, they could save that for the more like intense, like character interactions and things like that you're not playing out. But like most of it would just be an in-game like voiceover stuff instead of reading text in game. Like normally where you'd be, like talking to certain people and you're still technically in game, instead of it just pausing you and you having to read text, you'd actually be able to hear like voiceover and stuff like that. Like, and so like not so much CGI all the time, just more of that I think would be good.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move on to our last story. Shadow of the Tomb Raider reportedly cost upward of $100 million to make. To the average video game consumer, that's a very real disconnect between the biggest blockbusters and the resources it takes to make them. We rarely hear hard figures about operating budgets. We know they're expensive because they look expensive, but almost every number sounds inflated to the point of assets because it's just so many millions of dollars. In a recent interview with GameIndustry.biz, Eidos Montreal head David Fossey says that Shadow of the Tomb Raider's development will cost between $75 million and $100 million. Another $35 million will be spent on marketing and promotion. It's an important footnote in a piece about delivering single-player narrative-driven experience in a cost-effective way, but Shadow of the Tomb Raider was never going to be made on a tight budget. So, is this 75 to 100 million figure flagrantly expensive? Not really. Kotaku did some crude math to show how a project can realistically cost upward of $200 million. It boils down to a lot of highly specialized and talented folks working on the game for multiple years, often in a city where the cost of living is high. There's probably a few bucks to be saved by opening a studio in Des Moines, but good luck getting a bunch of creative types to move to Iowa. Square Enix surely has to be cognizant of this exact situation. 5 years ago, Square Enix infamously said that the Tomb Raider reboot was a financial failure when it was at 3.4 million sales. Eidos Montreal's most recent game, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, flopped so badly that Square Enix CEO had to come out and say the series isn't being discontinued, but rather that it's being put on hold for a while. If anyone is equipped with first-hand knowledge of what to expect from this kind of game, it's Square Enix. The real takeaway is something we've known for years now. AAA development is a high-risk segment, and many technically successful games end up with razor-thin profits. It's a model that's getting tougher and tougher to justify. Shadow of the Tomb Raider will probably earn its development costs back because it's the closing to a trilogy where the first two games were already well received. It helps that it's launching on all three platforms simultaneously rather than being a time exclusive. But for most of the other games, it's a lot of money and a lot of uncertainty. So, up to $100 million for this game. Yeah.
I mean, that seems about right. I mean, it's not like a Uncharted or Halo style budget, but it's a big AAA title that, Square Enix wants to publish and get out there, and Tomb Raider is a relatively popular franchise. It actually seems like a relatively small budget for a title like this. Like, I think the title or the budget for Rise of the Tomb Raider was a little bit larger than this. Mm-hmm. And like, I know they spent a lot of that budget on the engine and engineers and that kind of stuff. So like, it makes sense that the budget would be cut down a little bit, but I don't know. It seems like a lower budget than normal. I feel like what?
I mean,
sorry.
Well, Rise has some of Microsoft's money for exclusive.
I know.
So I wonder if that kind of helps set off the costs.
And all fingers point that, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is going to be on Xbox's stage again, and they're going to try to get behind that game as well. Yeah. But I don't know. I hope that the budget doesn't diminish the quality of the game, and I don't think it will, just because those games are. I think they're severely underrated and very, very great and very good games in terms of gameplay and exploration and stuff. Story could use a little work, but you know what? It's a game. I'm playing it to play the game, not to, if you want a story-based game, go watch a movie or play a Telltale game or something. Like, I don't care. I think those games are vastly underrated, and Lara's an interesting enough character, and her motivations in this game seem like maybe she might be an antagonist in this game as opposed to she seems to be bringing this stuff onto herself, and like that's an interesting twist to the everyday, like, oh, I'm the hero that's going to save the day. Like, it seems like an interesting twist that I want to explore, and I hope they have enough money and time to do this.
Yeah, and they did say that she's not getting her double pistol still in this game.
I know. That was a nice touch at the end of the first game, but like, I don't need double pistols, man. That bow and arrow is awesome, and yeah.
Well, this is kind of the weird thing that's happening. I think 3.4 million sales of the reboot was still good. I think they made their money back. I don't know how they couldn't. Rise of the Tomb Raider had a problem because it had to go up against Fallout 4, and because our people were still doing the console war thing, it just ended up on a system that was also going against a game that more people were excited to play and have than have play that game on Xbox. And the system's kind of sales was still low. And then we get even when we got the 20th anniversary, that game still didn't push anything. So it kind of showed that I think people were into Rise of the Tomb Raider or Laura's Crafts Adventure. Maybe be the changing climate of gamers' taste. Don't know. I think with this being in a September release, hopefully it gets a day by itself that it's not competing with anybody. Because I want to buy it on day one. I want to have the collection of it on my Xbox. So, and I hope that when it comes out and people buy the game, just be like, hey, bam, people go out and be like, yeah, we got a big title for Xbox, or we just got a big title in the Tomb Raider series, and bam, people gonna have that whole collection. Because I want to go back through one to two before Shadow comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still need to finish them too. Like I haven't finished either of them at all yet.
That's going to be your next challenge.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually thinking about like I might tonight. I might play a little bit of Sleeping Dogs, but I think I'm gonna play something else. Play Tomb Raider, I think, as well.
You need to finish both Tomb Raiders and DMC.
Yeah, I do like DMC too. I definitely would like to get back to that as well. But
yeah, but what are your thoughts, Jesse, on it?
Yeah, with like with the whole budget thing, like, yeah, I mean, a lot of times it seems like a lot of money, but if you think about it, like when you compare games and stuff like that versus like movies, even like the thing is, like with a game, you've got people that are like paid premium money for what they do. Like every single person in the chain of making that game, like all has a really big job to do. Like whereas with movies, you can get extras and you can get people that like just kind of fill in the movie that you don't really have to pay that much, and like if actors and stuff, it's usually the main actors that are really the only ones really getting paid a lot. Mm-hmm. Like whereas with this, like when you're making a game, like there's a lot of people that have a really important job to do, and so it's just gonna be expensive. It's I mean like in my opinion, it's going to cost more than you'd think than movies to make a game. But
pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody, that's been our Arsenal news, and we're going to get into our final segment of the show, our Arsenal exchange. And I asked this question because just playing Halo 5 yesterday, just made me realize on like old school multiplayer that I used to do back in my 20s. But I want to ask you guys, what fun moments do multiplayer modes have brought that Battle Royale hasn't just yet? Like you could dip in the past that you have, or you can present some whatever examples that you want to, but going back old school multiplayer, and this could be on any platform that you think. I know multiplayer was big on Xbox when Halo came out, because of it being like a really big first person shooter for the market, and definitely for consoles, because FPS only belonged on PC, and people would have their LAN computers and stuff. And I think when 360 kicked in, or I think Xbox Live was 360 when all their online function started.
It actually started on the original Xbox, but
yeah, original Xbox.
Was it Halo 2 that kicked it off?
Yeah,
well,
I think so. Well,
there
was other games.
There's a couple games before that. I think Rainbow Six 3 was the big game that really pushed Xbox Live.
So, I know for me, GameCube and N64. N64, The World Is Not Enough, the 007 game. Me and my two friends, we would play like till like 2 o'clock.
What is this?
The World Is Not Enough?
No, the only 007 game for N64 was GoldenEye.
No, there was another one.
No, there wasn't.
I thought it was The World Is Not Enough.
He's missing the joke.
Oh.
he's missing the joke.
No one cared about that game.
Nobody cares about The World Is Not Enough.
GoldenEye is the only one.
GoldenEye is the only one that matters.
That exists.
The World Is Not Enough was a fun multiplayer.
No.
Eh.
I was
Wait,
playing
what?
Golden.
Wait, what?
You punk Jesse.
No, the world is not enough. Is the 007 game that was like those nasty blue NES cartridges, like the fake, the fake NES games, but like it was the 007 version of that, where like everybody wanted GoldenEye, but there was that one kid that got the world is not enough instead, and that was it, I guess.
We had a ball on that game.
That was
But
the first 007 game EA released, I think, after they got the license. Because I remember the GameCube. Well, I got them for GameCube, but I think they were for PS2 and Xbox as well. The Agent Under Fire and Nightfire, those games were awesome.
Oh, yeah, those were fun. Yeah, I played Agent Under Fire.
And GoldenEye Rogue Agent was pretty cool too.
Yeah, Rogue Agent was really
Agent
good.
Under Fire the first one in that series?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think I know there was 5 games released, 007 games released for that era, but I think there was 3 in that series, which was like Agent Under Fire, Nightfire, and Everything or Nothing. Because I remember the third game, they made it a big deal that they got Pierce Brosnan's likeness back.
Yeah.
Which was funny because like a year later they released Casino Royale, I think, which was not, or something like that. Maybe it wasn't that soon, but like, you know what I mean? Like very soon after that, Pierce Brosnan was no longer 007. And then they made From Russia with Love, and they got Sean Connery to do the voiceover. And I'm like, wow, this is like a 20-something-year-old James Bond with a 60-year-old Sean Connery playing his voice.
Yeah. Some of those newer that eventually came out were pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I still like, as far as multiplayer goes, it was always GoldenEye.
Yeah.
For me. But like, yeah, as far as like, I'm gonna be honest, like I love Fortnite. And I really enjoy playing that, but I think the reason that I like PUBG a little bit more is just because like with having vehicles, it kind of like it covers all the bases of all the reasons that I had a lot of fun in the past playing multiplayer games. You know, I have vehicles where I can, you know, crash it and kill Corey, and I have I have the ability to get attachments and things like that. So it's kind of like the Call of Duty games, and like the buildings, like when they're fully loaded in, they're unique. Like they're like just kind of cool, and like it kind of reminds me of Battlefield in a way. You know, like, and then like, as far as like playing the games though with other friends, like I mean, like I just love playing, like, when me and Corey are playing it, or you know, like it just like it hits all the bases. Like the battle royale games have been hitting all the bases for me of like why I enjoy playing multiplayer games.
But what has multiplayer most offered that battle royale hasn't for you? Like what past stuff when you play multiplayer before you got into battle royale?
Are you saying like what modes gave us the same feeling that battle royale does now, like back then?
No,
like
he's saying,
it's just like battle royale. I think hasn't provided the fun and laughter like we had with Halo 5.
Well,
like
I think there's 87 million people that disagree with you.
Well, yeah. But the thing about it is that when we was playing Halo 5 multiplayer, you know, we was searching for each other. We was like being quick and doing unexpected stuff, and we didn't have to really search for weapons and
like getting 3 perfect kills on the head.
You punk!
I've never even heard of that, and I got 3 of them against you. I don't even know what that is.
like we didn't have to plan a strategy. We didn't have to go across the whole board, and like we didn't have to meet up and stuff. The fun that was in multiplayer, because we didn't really have to team up with anybody, was that unexpected stuff was just happening.
Well, and you know what, Ed? I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. There's literally one little minuscule reason that there's a difference between like all that stuff.
Mhm.
The fact that you die and you're dead. That's it. That's the only reason that makes it any different. Like from our standpoint, like us recordings, like because we're recording a show
Yeah.
to actually do something for people to watch, we have to actually try, like when you're playing, you know, like when you're playing Fortnite or you're playing PUBG, you don't want to die right away because that's just kind of not fun for people to watch it. But with Halo, you can die multiple times. It doesn't matter. So like it's continuous until the round is over. So like honestly, because for me, like Fortnite and PUBG give me all the fun things that I enjoy about
And
any
that's
of the past. But
and that's fun. But I might have to disagree with you on that part. Your cat.
yeah, I know she's.
Is our mascot not around, not doing his job?
He's I think upstairs laying
Okay.
down. He's had enough.
Okay, he's forgiven. I think with Halo, when it's unexpected kills, like the kills are literally crazy. You have a chance to respond and get your revenge.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to wait for you gotta, if you die, your other teammates are still in the game. Now you gotta watch them. You know, that might be entertaining, and that might be the difference. But when I'm getting blindsided by Corey, when I'm trying to figure out where the heck you are at, because you keep sniping me in my head, like figuring out the pieces and stuff, and working to figure out what the heck is going to survive, and like you just shooting at people's feet and stuff, and making, like, sometimes I feel like in multiplayer you can make it comedic as you want to now, because the unexpectancy and maybe even the ragdoll physics. Like, what if you pop me off a ledge and I'm falling down like this, and people are watching that, they probably would just laugh. And I think it's one of those episodes that, and I wish that you could just do, and you probably have to do it on Twitch or something, that everybody's playing that on their own game, streaming it from different perspectives, but watching everything and just and knowing good and well that the people who are watching can't respond to us to tell us to watch out because they have to type it. But if I don't know where you're coming from and you just popping me like crazy, and you just say something, got you, or you say something ridiculous, like you could brag about it in multiplayer. You can't really do that in a little bit with, I guess, Battle Royale. So that, I think that's the fun difference.
Yeah.
Probably for me. I understand now. I understand the fun difference from you, and maybe that's why I probably had disagree with you.
Well, yeah, but that's, you know, and that is a thing that the other games like offer. Like that's kind of what I was getting at. Is because you can't die multiple times in one round of Fortnite. Like that does make a difference. Like that's something like you were saying, like getting revenge and you know, being able to go right back into it again and go after the people that just killed you.
Yeah,
that's not something that you can do in the battle royale games, and that's why I say, like, that's the one thing that makes it different. Is, you know, like, you can't have that interactions in those games, but that's, like, for me, that's literally the only thing I can think of that would be different.
I think it's the sometimes Battle Royale feels unfair because, I'm sorry, I mean, you are on a time limit and you do have to deal with 99 other players and stuff.
Yeah.
But if someone, now don't want to say cheat, if someone actually like just snipes you or kills you with you not having a chance, and that could, I think if that continues to happen to stuff, or if the system bugs and glitches, just in PUBG,
Yeah.
if a lot of that stuff had got fixed, I think a lot of people who want to watch that might have fun and might enjoy it because it brings like some kind of anticipation. Where I think with a multiplayer mode in Halo, for example, and not so much like Call of Duty or Titanfall, because that could be the same thing with PUBG. If you're not given a chance, because there's just some people when you play around the world, they might be experts at the game because that might
Yeah.
be the all that they play. Um, I think when you're not given a chance to even kill somebody or get a chance to win, some people might feel like that's not fun and that's not fair because
Yeah.
you didn't get a chance. And it actually may be, we might agree or disagree on this. It's different when you're playing with friends than when you're playing with the public.
Yeah.
Like me, Corey, and Austin was having a great time, and I feel like we could do this. We could recapture the same thing because it's our own skill, our own figuring out what to do, and getting revenge on whoever killed us or whoever we want to kill. It's up to us to do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I have vendettas against Corey because he was killing me. So of course I'm gonna find him. But then I'm not thinking about you. So bam, you could kill me. Now my vendetta has switched to you. Cause now my revenge has become, not only do I want to kill you, I want to get the point.
Yeah.
Okay, now Jesse once again just hit me with a hammer again out of the blue because I wasn't paying attention. Dang, that kind of stuff feels fun because sometimes it's the reaction. And
Yeah.
I think battle royale games at this moment, and it might just be me, hasn't provided that yet. I think if we were able to do a battle royale that was straight private, and it was just 50 of us, or all of NGR, let's just
Yeah.
say, and
Yeah.
some of their friends hopped on it, I think we would have literally a blast. Because the first thing my thing would be out is take out Jesse. Because he knows this game too well. He's too skilled at this, and he'll kill us all.
Yeah, like if they did, yeah, if they were able to add just like private mode where you can just make your own game and you can have, if you only want to have 5 people in the game, so be it. But like they, I don't know if they would just make like the maps smaller. Well, with Fortnite, if they did it with Fortnite, it wouldn't be too bad because if the maps are big but they're not too big, like PUBG, the maps are just so massive. Like I guess it probably wouldn't technically really matter. Like like because you can find vehicles and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
but I don't know. I think both games could probably like let you, if they would let you have a like
Not again.
where you can make your own game. So yeah, I think that would be interesting. That probably would make it a little bit more fun for people who would rather just play against friends. So yeah, I agree with that. I do think that is one thing that those games can offer you, is the ability to just play against your friends and not have to worry about outside people. So
Right. Because I would love to challenge you. Like, Corey knows my skill. I know Corey's skill. I'll get my revenge. But I kind of want to, like, I felt like when we played that 1v1v1v was that let's challenge each other's skill and see what level that we're at. And Corey's just too good. Like, I don't know if he was good or he was knocking me. Because I was just like, yes, I got 12 points. Oh, Corey got 21. Dang, damn it.
The key in the Halo games is like when me and Corey were playing, we were playing just 2v2 and we were just getting our butts kicked. But like, I just got to get back into that, like, that thought process of only shoot their head. Like, if you're going to shoot them, you have to shoot their head, or otherwise you will not survive.
Yeah.
Like that game is like,
and
literally
travel
headshots is all that matter.
And travel with at least somebody else and team shoot. Like that is, I mean, and that's like, not to bring up Destiny again, but that's like a lot of people don't like that about Destiny 2 is like you have to team shoot, and that's what Halo has always been about, especially like, you know, 2 and 3 and now 5, like traveling in packs and really taking down one enemy at a time as a group and really working those assists. And like, yeah, you're going to get a bunch of assists, but at least you're winning, right? And that's what that's what the big focus on the arena thing for Halo is right now, is like team shoot. So
because when you're doubling up or you have more players on against one, that one player's energy is going down quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, you got multiple weapons pointed at one person and bullets are hitting them. Like, yeah, one of your teammates may die or you may die, but your other teammate's there to clean up. So
yeah, because basically the more people you have shooting at a person, the more mistakes you can make. So if you're not getting headshots every single time, you know, at least you're doing multiple damage, so you're gonna, you know, be able to take them out.
Right, because I literally was trying to go on Contra with Corey. It's just like literally blast him. This dude gonna throw up a bomb, and then I was just like, oh dang, David.
Yeah.
It was so. Look, I was just like, I bet you Corey is just sitting back, just smiling, because he's just killing me. He was just like, at this moment in time, yes. So, but not saying to disagree with you, Jesse, but I do understand.
But he's gonna disagree with you.
That's fine.
I think there's some points that me and you might disagree, and that's probably how we used to incorporate and play multiplayer games in the past, where when I did multiplayer, I always had someone around me. You know,
I mean, I did too, but I just feel like it's just like when I'm playing a Fortnite or a PUBG, like me and Corey, or like when me and my friend Pat are in the same room playing it, it's like I'm still having that fun interaction because like we do, like we goof around, like when we're playing Halo through the story mode, you know, it's like playing it through the story isn't really like, I mean, sure, it's kind of fun, but like the laughter and all that stuff comes from what you are personally putting, like as far as your personality into the game. And so like for you, like if you're just not feeling PUBG at all, well then like you just don't, like if you're not enjoying it, then your full personality isn't really going to be put into it, you know. Well, so therefore it's just like it's not going to be as enjoyable, you know. But like it's just all a matter of like how you, like I guess how you play it, you know. Like,
and I think that's why when I look at Fortnite versus PUBG, and Corey like really said, it's just like PUBG is polished, like it's a consistent frame rate. You have mechanics, but it's not too hard to understand. Yeah. Where I think PUBG, even though it's in early access on Xbox, I think that a game of this magnitude, I think still should have had time spent in to at least get a constant frame rate. I think the frame rate in that game if the frame rate of that game would have been just consistent, everything else I think will fall into place, and that might lead to other people having fun.
I wonder if part of the issue with that is just because there's so much, like, you know, like we've talked about in the past, like when you're making a game
Mhm.
and there's kind of so many things that are being done by different people. I forget who was talking about it. One of the podcasts or something. I was listening to something where they were kind of talking about how like all the different parts of a game, like when it becomes a full game, like
Mhm.
the like kind of like a movie. It's not until the whole thing is finished and put together that any given person who is working on that game really gets to see what exactly the game is about or what's going on or how it works. So, like I wonder if it's because so many things are kind of still half done in that game that they can't really get like a consistent frame rate because there's so many things that are just unfinished. It's not quite put together enough yet to the point of where they can really get that part of the game completely tweaked, and able to get it working at 100% yet. But
Yeah,
like
plus-
once everything is done, they can kind of do that, and it will show up across the board.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, plus I think they're just getting to that point where they're like they've been playing catch up with that game for so long because they weren't expecting to be that successful. And now they have to like backtrack and play catch up because there's so many people asking for so many things that now they're playing catch up on like, okay, we have to prioritize this over this over this. And I mean it's gotten a 1.0 release on PC since we've started this show, and there's a rumor that the 1.0 release could be coming in August for Xbox, but like they've still got to fix a lot of things, and and it's not the prettiest game on Xbox One, right? It still has a lot of issues, but like I think when you're dealing with a small team like that versus a gigantic organization like Epic, like there's things that you have to make sacrifices.
That is true. I agree. I feel like when it's a game that's modded after something, like you take a existing property and then you mod it to a point where it's its own and then release it. I think people who view mods is that when you release this mod, it's somewhat complete because you spent time to get all of this texture and this artwork and design. You got everything right, so when people download the mod for that game, it's working. I think a lot of people didn't expect that with Player Unknown.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's just like, okay, the game is running okay when there's 100 people on the ship or whatever, but then when it's into the game, is it because that so much is going on in the world that you're not controlling, or is it just where when it was on the ship it was easy because it's just one spot?
Well, I think part of the issue is kind of like with the like, look at the Fallout games or like the Skyrim games and stuff like that. Like that, like honestly, that's really what this game reminds me of. Like like when you're playing PUBG, it almost feels like you're playing playing like a Fallout game. And like Fallout and all those games that like they come out complete, but yet they're so filled with like little glitches and weird things, and I feel like that's what the problem is with this game. But again, like Corey said, they don't have a big, like there's not a big group really working on fixing it, and so they've kind of got to pick and choose what things they work on.
But then that becomes the problem when you're charging $40.
Well, it's not
and
40,
if you're
it's 30.
selling, charging I keep saying 40. Sorry about that. When you're charging $30, okay, so people who now have invested.
Well, that's
game,
why they're making it very clear that it's part of the preview program. This is the argument we've been having for 6 months. Like it's part of the preview program. Like it literally says preview on the icon on the Xbox. and they have to make, and they're
I
making
mean,
it quite clear that it's like not finished.
I'm not talking about the preview for the Xbox, more the preview for more of the full game for PC, because they was charging it on for PC even before it came to Xbox.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean
It was
it's a $30 game.
Right, and it sold a lot. So I guess what I'm trying to get is that even though you sold a lot of these copies and everything, and it's still in the preview, should that money now been used to hire more people to fix it? Because now they're with Blue Court or something. They're with another They were actually with a publisher who should be able to give them money or hire more people to fix these issues. So then
I think they are, but it's just a matter of them getting.
Plus,
getting
it's like one guy who makes mods. He's not like a business guy. He's had to hire a business guy to make these moves also. And it's not like, I don't know. He's in a rough spot, and like I commend them for keeping going, especially with the success of Fortnite and whatnot. It's been a time for him, and I do not envy his position whatsoever. But at the same time, it's like they're doing what they can do with the resources that they have, and I think they're still overwhelmed by the amount of success and the amount of money that they have, and they're trying to figure out a plan of how to disperse that money and where the resources are going to go. And PC is obviously their biggest audience, so they're going to funnel their resources towards the PC audience, while they are partnered with Xbox, and Xbox is kind of helping them in terms of controls and engine usage and stuff. I think the Xbox team that's working on this game is a lot smaller than the PC team, because they want to keep their bigger player base happy. It's the same thing as It's the same thing as like when games come out on PS4 or PlayStation and Xbox, and then they port the game to Wii U without certain functionality because they don't want to spend the resources on something that's not going to sell as much. And I'm not talking about Switch versions of games. I'm talking about when we would get Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag on PS4 and Xbox One, and then they port the game to Wii U without multiplayer and online functionality, which is why my game save is still stuck at 94.6%. Sorry, I'm not salty. I'm super salty.
Seasoned.
Look, man, I literally did everything you could possibly do in that game except for multiplayer stuff because it's not in there. But the stats are still in there. The multiplayer stats are still in the game. Just a little salty. I'm just a little salty.
Yeah, that's kind of broken.
But
seasoned.
But I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I feel like we keep talking around in circles about this conversation about PUBG and this kind of stuff, and it's like, I think they're doing what they can with the team that they have and trying to get the game on platforms where the game can be successful while they work on other versions of the game. I think is what they're trying to do. And I mean,
and I think that's why I was just trying to focus on multiplayer modes that provide the fun that battle royale games haven't provided yet.
Well, I think moving forward, like, a lot of a lot of games are just going to feature battle royale as a mode and not as a complete game. PUBG's really the only game, and like there's a couple others, like Radical Heights is trying, and Fortnite, it's literally a mode in Fortnite. There's still a whole other game that millions of people forget exists, but battle royale is still just a game mode. And when Battlefield and Call of Duty and The Division and all these other games try to implement battle royale, which I think The Division is the game that's going to be the most successful at this, by the way, just because of the way that game works. But if it has it, I mean, who knows? Maybe Ghost Recon will have it in the future. I still think Tom Clancy is where that game mode's going to end up, but I think battle royale is going to exist better as a mode in games because I still don't. I still only think it's like a fad. Like, and it's going to be a long-term fad, but I don't think it's a genre that could sustain itself without something else that goes with it. Which is why I think Fortnite's going to be successful in the long run. Not that it's not successful now, but I mean, like, continue to be successful. Whereas, like, I kind of get the feeling that PUBG is getting that H1Z1, Arma, DayZ kind of vibe to it, to where, like, it started out with a bang and a lot of people were talking about it, and now something else has come along and it's just kind of, like, fizzling out. You know? Which I kind of still preferred PUBG over Fortnite. Not that Fortnite's not fun. I just prefer that game over. But yeah.
That's all I have to say. And I think like, you know, because unfortunately right now with PUBG again not having a whole lot of people to work on stuff, they're kind of unfortunately like can't keep up, because they're trying to get their game done and they can't really keep up with it. But what I imagine is like what Fortnite is doing right now with the whole Avengers thing. Like ultimately that kind of stuff is what's going to make like PUBG, if they moving forward, if they start adding, you know, events and things like that into the game to change up the game type. Like that's really what they're going to have to focus on doing in order to keep the game being relevant, is to do like what they're doing right now in Fortnite with the whole, you know, like being able to play as Thanos type thing. Like I think that's moving forward what PUBG will eventually have to kind of focus on, is some kind of events that change, that alter the world, or you know, or make it more something else that you have to kind of avoid or you know, go towards or whatever, you know. Like that's gonna be something that I think they'd have to do to continue to make it, you know, make it interesting.
Well, we'll see in the future. But I want to know what you guys think. What multiplayer modes did you guys have fun with that Battle Royale hasn't provided just yet? You can email the show at arsenalxpodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out our other shows that we do on here, like Expansion Pass, Squad Goals, Royale with Cheese. Oh,
that's me.
There you go. Our Pod and Play, our Nindy Showcase, Nintendo Power Block, World 1-1, NGR Radio, or Nerds Gone Rogue, and Nerds Gone Platinum. You guys can all check that out at Nerds Gone Rogue here on YouTube or on at NGRradio.com. Where can we find you at, Jesse?
You can find me on Twitter at @sub_humanist.
And Corey, where can we find you at?
You can find me at CoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram, and a plethora of other shows here on NGR Radio.
Yes, and you guys can find me on Twitter at ThatRetroCode, and you can also check out my podcast, Optional Opinion, on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and other podcast apps. With that, everybody, we're going to throw up the X one more time, because we're exiting out of this discussion and this show. Everybody have a great week. Have a great weekend whenever you hear this podcast. And we'll talk to you later on Arsenal X. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.